at the festival here in Govardhan. Today on this everyday auspicious that we remember Krishna. Can you hear at the back? Can anybody hear at the back? Can you hear at the back?
Yes, Lord.
Don't say, they can't hear me say it, but they won't. They might hear you, but they're supposed to hear me. Hare Krishna. We're going to move the yoga back outside again now that it's raining. Is that okay? You ready, Shinko? Yes. Okay. We're going to have a water yoga today. Hare Krishna. Krishna mercy. Maybe the chanting brought the rain. Hare Krishna. We brought the rain of love of God. Love pour down on all living entities. And today's festival is, today we're having a little different Sunday festival today in a sense. It's the same, purpose is the same, to bring us closer to Krishna. One of Prabhupada's purposes of ISKCON is to make facilities so the members can come together and get closer to Krishna. That's the idea of today's ceremony also. And everyone can be a part of this, of course. And today's initiation ceremony. Today we're having both Nam-Diksha and Mantra-Diksha initiation. Three devotees, candidates for Nam-Diksha and 4 candidates for Mantra-Diksha. So let's see what Krishna arranges, what mercy he bestows upon us all. And now we're going to, with your permission, we're going to hand over to, are you ready to sing the Mantra? We're going to hand over to our priest, Mr. Prabhu, to take us through the next section of the festival. Hare Krishna. Make yourself.
When we took initiation from Srila Prabhupada in Trafalgar Square in London, that was in 1972. And some of the devotees you know also took initiation at that time. But anyway, at that time, Prabhupada was about 20 or 30 devotees, candidates for first initiation from all over Europe. And we were caught up in threes because of, I guess, time circumstance. Prajumna, Prabhupada's sort of secretary, he had a bag with all the beads inside it, with the names and everything. So he called us up in 3 to come and get initiated by Srila Prabhupada. So I was one of the first 3 to be called up. And then Prabhupada saw we didn't have neck beads on. We didn't have neck beads in those days. So we were supposed to get them at initiation. So we didn't have, so he told us to go and sit down again until we had the neck beads on. He would give the name. So they just had their neck beads on, their dog collars. They've just been put on or replaced, as it may be. So we did like a connection, like a reminder also of our connection with our parampara, the cyclic succession. And then Prabhupada, then we were called out again. Tell me when you're ready. Are we ready? Still are we waiting? Waiting. Then Prabhupada, then we came up in 3, and this time my name was not called up at all. Full stop. Everything was finished. We'd done the yajna. Yajna over. That's another story. And I didn't really know what to do, whether I was supposed to, throw myself in the fire or throw the banana in the fire. I wasn't quite sure. And my name was not called up. I didn't receive my beads. I did receive a name. Hare Krishna. And then, just as everything was finished, everything was finished. And Prabhupada was leaving the square, and the festival was carrying on. But Prabhupada was leaving, and then Dhananjaya, some of you know Dhananjaya Prabhu, temple president at that time of London, senior Prabhupada disciple, came up to me and said, "What's your new name?" And I said, "I don't have one." I said, "What?" I said, No, I don't have one. I'm still what I was. So he ran over to Prabhupada and talked to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada called Prajumna, and Prajumna said, No, everyone's got their name, there are no beads left in the bag. He picked up his bag, said, "See, the bag's empty," put his hand in, oh, out came the beads. Instead of beads. In those days we didn't have Tulsi beads, you should think of
himself, I think. Some devotees had all kinds of beads. I mean, initiation, at least we mostly had, mine were not made of wood entirely. They were, some of them were wood and some of them were made of dough. Flour and water. And you put them in the oven the night before the initiation and bake them. To make 108. We didn't have, some had plastic, some had before initiation, and initiation some kind of slightly, but mine was still made of somewhat dough. There was no one had tulsi beads. No one had kurtas, nobody had chuddahs. We had orange nylon piece of cloth and a t-shirt. That was what we were wearing at initiation. Nobody had anything else in those days. Anyway, Radha said to Prajuna something, and then he came and talked to me and he said, come back to the temple right now. I had to walk a couple of kilometers back to the temple, I ran back to the temple, and Prabhupada told Prajuna I had to come and see him in his room. I thought he was going to tell me to go away and never come back again. You were a demon, you were not qualified. I really thought that was what the situation was. I wasn't qualified to be even theoretically or formally considered to be a disciple. I didn't feel the qualification was there. So I was a little nervous, to say the least, sat outside Prabhupada's room. There was only one or two other devotees in the temple doing deity worship, and that was it. Prabhupada and Prajuna, nobody else. And I was sat outside the room waiting. You know what it's like when you sit outside the dentist's, you know, to have goodness knows what done to your teeth. And I was really nervous. And then Prajuna suddenly came out. I thought at least he would come in with me because I knew him and it kind of like I felt comfortable with him. And then he said, in you go. And he didn't come in. And I went in alone. I was somewhat nervous. So I went in and I bowed down. And Prabhupada said, bow down properly. Bow down properly, he said. Put both hands on the floor when you bow down. So I did. And then I sat there and then he looked at me and asked me the usual questions. We won't say what they are to give the game away. He asked the usual questions. Somehow or another I managed to remember them by Krishna's grace. And then he gave me my beads. And same beads like that had been given to him that day or whatever. And he didn't say anything. He just gave the beads with a piece of paper with the name on it, the meaning and everything. And gave my name, Janananda Das, Brahmachari, those days. And then I bowed down again with the beads in my hand. He said, put the beads on the table and offer your obeisances properly with both hands on the floor. He said this to me at least 4 times. Put both hands on the floor when you pay obeisances. He also told us twice, instructed very carefully not to pay obeisances with feet towards the Vyasa or the altar. When we pay obeisances. Little things like this all help us, let's say, to evoke the mercy of Krishna, to become a little more conscious. And then Prabhupada gave me a nice, big, simply wonderful. And this time I did put the simply wonderful on the table and paid my obeisances to Prabhupada. That's a bit of specialness. I was just filling in the gap here until the show was ready. Ready? Take it away. What's next?
It's actually describing the quality of Brahmana. A Brahmana is actually able to see the abode of Vishnu. And because he can see the abode of Vishnu, he can reveal it to others. So this is the nature of Brahmana. So we're requesting all those Brahmanas present to actually bless this auspicious, this ceremony to be an auspicious ceremony. Okay? So I'm going to throw a bit of rice in the place. Ashkavanaham punyaham bhavantu bhavantu om punyaham om ashkamana swasti bhavantu bhavantu aishute swasti om swasti om ashkamana vidhim bhavantu om ridyatam. So those 3 mantras, as I was saying, the first one was asking the Brahmins to make this an auspicious ceremony. And then it says, you know, I say, on punyaham, let it be auspicious, let it be auspicious, let it be auspicious. Then it says, dear Brahmanas, speak auspiciously of this activity. Let there be auspiciousness. Then it's saying, let it be auspicious. And the last mantra, dear Brahmanas, please let this activity be prosperous. So not only are you going through this ceremony, but please let this be a prosperous ceremony, so that you can prosper in spiritual life, as it may be prosperous. Then the last mantra on this. Om Swasti no Govinda, Swasti no Chutranto, Swasti no Vasudeva Vishnu Dadatu, Swasti no Narayana Naravai, Swasti no Pavana Purushottamo Dhanatu, Swasti no Vishvakshena Vishvareshwara, Swasti no Vishikesha Hari Dhatu, Swasti no Vainatera Hari, Swasti no Amudanasu Hanu Bhagavato Dhatu, Swasti Swasti Smangalekesho Maham, Sri Krishna Satanagana Gana Saleshwareshwaro Dhatu. Okay, so now we pronounce what is a sankalpa. Sankalpa means a vow or fixing one's mind on the activity we're about to perform. So this sankalpa is called a namkarana or diksha yajna, giving name or giving initiation. Also gayatri, pancharatric gayatri diksha for those who are gayatri mantra. And basically what I do here is I just request all the acharyas, the Supreme Lord, and all the great personalities to, we just explain to them what's going to happen on this day, and then we're asking them to bestow their auspicious on us. Okay? Om Vishnu, Om Tat Sat, Adya, Madhavam Mase, Krishna Pakshe, Satmitito, Achuta Gotra, Jananda Goswami, Diksha Kama Bhuyadayatam Sri Krishna Priyatam Sri Bhagavachana Vasudhare Sampatana Ayusa Shukta Jayudaya Ekashara Paramam Aham Karishe. So basically saying, on this day of the Saptami in the Krishna Paksha, which is the bright fortnight of the moon, in the month of Madhava, we're going to do this Diksha Yajna. Om Devo Davindo Purna Vivashtastitam Purva Sinchadvam Upava Junadvam Adit Vo Deva Pavate Om Sankalpartidasya Siddhi Astu. Okay, so I think now we'll do the drama Samhita.
Go chant again.
Yeah. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadilari Govinda Sarvakarnakaranam Chintamani Prakara Satma Shukalpa Vriksha Laksha Miteshva Suragira Vilayanam Lakshmi Sahasra Satasam Pranaseyamanam Govinda Hari Purusham Namaham Bhajami Venam Purnantam Aravinda Dalaya Kasham Mahavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govinda Hari Purusham Namaham Bhajami Alola Chandra Kalasatvanavalia Vamsi Ratnam Gadam Pranayateli Kalavilasam Shamam Vivangala Litani Yata Prakasham Govindamani Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti Pashyanti Panti Kalayanti Shiranjaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sarujvala Vigrahasya Govindamani Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitam Achyutam Anadi Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto Govindamani Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Pantastrikoti Satatatsala Sevravano Vayaratapi Manaso Manipungavano Sodhyasriya Prapadasinya Vichintya Tattve Govindamani Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Eko Kasora Chaitam Jagadanda Kotim Yaschakirasti Jagadanda Chayadhyadanta Andam Tarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindamani Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yadbhava-bhava-kadyo manujasta-taiva Samprapya-rupa-mahima-shanuyana-bhusha Shukta
Nitayameva Nigamakatikaistuvanti Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Anamilochaneena Shantashanaiva Vidayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Chinta Gunasvarupam.
All together.
Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramari Murti Shukalani Yamena Kishta Nanavatana Bhagavat Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavatvanamapumanto Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabhava Bhavato Jagadanta Koti Kokishvashesha Vasudani Vibhuti Vignam Tad Brahmanishkalamanam Talashesha Bhutam Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Jagadanta Sutani Sute Traigunyatat Vishaya Veda Vikayamana Sattva Viparasatva Vishuddha Sattvam Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Sattva Masu Yapraninam Pratipalasmargam Upedya Lila Yivena Bhuvanani Jayatyatasam Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Nitayami Taletatasya Devi Mahesha Harinama Suteshu Teshu Te Te Brahmava Nitayami Hitasayena Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Shristi Stiti Pralayasana Shakti Rekha Chaye Vayasya Bhuvanani Vibhati Durga Ishtanurupam Apiyasya Tatesa Tesa Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Shiram Yatada Vivikada Vishesha Yoga Sanjayatena Vihatasya Kadashti Heto Yasham Bhutama Vihatasam Vaiti Varya Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yarkaranana Bhajaleva Jagishma Yoga Indramananta Jagadanda Saroma Bhupa Adhara Shaktim Avalamya Parasvamurtim Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yashyaika Nishra Sitakala Matavalamya Jivanti Loma Vilajata Galandayata Vishnu Mahansa Hiyayasya Kala Vishesho Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Vashvanya Tashva Sakaleshu Nikeshu Teja Sviyam Kiyatra Kayam Yamikakadakra Brahmaya Esha Jagadanda Vijnana Karta Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yatra Kapala Vayugam Vinikaya Kumbha Vandve Pranama Samaye Swagadadiraja Vignan Vihanta Mahalasya Jagatayasya Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Govinda Sarakaram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 So, as Maharaj pointed out before, you all know water of the Brahma Samhita.
A good start. 25%. That's pretty good. Maybe even more. It's one of those mantras Prabhupada said is good to recite because there are many. But it's a really wonderful and important mantra in our paragraph, particularly so that when the necessary time comes, actually it comes every moment. Every moment is a danger in this world. Samasya ye padapalava plavam hatpadam punya yashomarare Vavambire vatsa pram 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 yadi vedam natesham there is danger at every step of our lives. We may not realize it. And we may not even know what danger is. We think that safety is, actually we think it's safety, but it's actually sometimes dangerous. We're actually engaged in activities which actually lead us into a very dangerous situation. So at every moment there's danger. Of course, am I sitting here? Huh? We're going to go back. Do we need another priest? Okay, you're going to be coming back. You're sure you're coming back? I remember one time we did the Srinagar is now going to be back shortly. I remember one time we were doing this big drama in Mayapur. It was on the 108th anniversary of Prabhupada's appearance day. Last minute, as always, last minute, we had no rehearsals. Electricity went out in Mayapur. Everything went out. We lost our narrator, dropped the torch down into the stage. We had no torch. He gave me the wrong paper. I had the wrong sheet. It was all we had no time to rehearse. Anyway, it was an amazing event. And the most amazing thing was that our technician who was doing the video, he thought it was all over. So he disappeared and went and had his lunch. And when the electricity came back on, he was nowhere to be seen. And we couldn't. Anyway, it was one of those things. ISKCON. You've been around ISKCON long enough, you know nothing surprises you. Absolutely nothing. Nobody and nothing surprises you. No matter what happens, right? Some of you have been around more than a few days. It takes about a week to find that out, I think. Maybe not even that long. Anyone need a chair? Anyone need a bed? Everyone okay? You okay back there, ladies? You need some chairs to sit on? You know, you don't need anything? Anything to blow? Anything like that? Anyway, make yourselves at home on this beautiful sunny day. Where was I? I was saying something. What was I saying before that? Come on. Yes. Huh? Danger. You've got to be ready for danger. So Prabhupada said you should learn these mantras, at least the Hare Krishna mantra, nothing else, we can chant that. But other mantras too. So, because not just death of the body, but at every moment, in one sense, we're dying, you know, at every moment the test is there. We're losing a bit of our body at every moment. Did you know that? What do you think, Joy? Getting old? How old are you now? You're 35 yet? 35? No, nearly 35. Okay, how 86? 87. Jay is 87 years old. Some of you may not be that old, I don't know. But we're all, and it's amazing how time pushes us where we've got to be ready, you know. We spend so much time preparing for this temporary lifetime, trying to, you know, arrange things for a little bit of maybe security. We can't even say if it will be, but we put so much energy into it, study, work, anxiety, and so many things. But for our real welfare, for our eternal benefit, even in this lifetime, not to speak of the next, even in this lifetime, we put practically no effort. Forget it. Don't worry about it. It's like we go to sleep. Don't care less what happens the next day. Make no arrangements whatsoever. Absolutely stupid. And that's there every morning. And we do not know when that time will come anyway. When the final, let's say the final call comes up, our number comes up, and it's time takes us away. So it said, practice this chanting as much as we can, and that will come up. It's called a samskar, an impression on our hearts. Okay, we're going to go back a little bit, and we're going to say 1, 2 prayers, and then we're going to start. I don't know how much time we've got. We're running late. As normal, in ISKCON. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vishane Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Bhastachavi Shatarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Nangayate Garim Yakvipatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinkarim. I won't chant the others, they'll come in later. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura. Stretch those arms. Come on, don't lazy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. How fortunate we are. Associated with Radha and Krishna. The Maha Mantra is simply the names of Radha and Krishna. Isn't that amazing?
who knows, I'm not going to embarrass anyone where we're coming from. Most of us are not coming from the most auspicious or pious backgrounds, spiritually speaking, at least in this lifetime. But somehow, by the divine mercy of the pure devotees of the Lord, and by Krishna's grace, the Lord is appearing to give us His association in the chanting of the Maha Mantra. So fortunate. We may not think of it or remember it. Sometimes we may take it for granted. But He is there. We just have to develop the right conception of understanding. Now, if an insect is on your body, there's not, but maybe some insects crawling in, they have no idea that that is what it is. They don't know. This morning after class, Parama Karuna Prabhu, there he is, Parama, was telling me the story of the flea. It was a nice story. He said, my class reminded me of a flea. Thank you. He said, your class reminded me of a flea, he said, and a dog. Very nice. I'm not sure if I was the flea or I was the dog, but anyway, it reminded him of a flea or fleas and dog. And on the dog, he said, there's an old story, there were many fleas on the dog. Huh? Sometimes dogs have fleas. And maybe we also have fleas. I don't hope not, but anyway, sometimes it may happen. And the fleas are discussing, how can I possibly believe in the existence of a dog? How can you prove it? How can they prove it? They're living on the dog, but they can't prove that the dog exists. We're living in Krishna, in one sense, because we're blind, we're covered over, our consciousness is diverted from Krishna. We're looking at the immediate situation of the world we're in. And we've developed all kinds of different concepts, and we've developed different types of attachments in this world, and so many things. And that's the whole world is going on by desire. We've developed this materialistic desire, basically speaking. So the process of Krishna consciousness is to revive our consciousness so we can actually realize who we are and what is the situation of, you could say, even the material, but our eternal situation. Why are we here? What's the point of this human life? What happens to us when we die? Why am I born in this particular situation? And why am I so attached to this material world? So many questions which we could ask, and there are answers to all these questions. We're just asking the wrong persons. We're looking in the wrong place, even if we ask those questions, generally speaking. We have to go to the source of knowledge, coming down, as Krishna says, in the Bhagavad Gita, evam parampara praptam imam rajasya viduhu. That this knowledge, this eternal knowledge, is coming down through a line of disciplic succession, called parampara, evam parampara praptam imam rajasya viduhu. It's coming down through this line, right to this present moment. We're very fortunate. Not much time to get into detail, but it's coming down and right on our doorstep. Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master of all of us, he's the Siksha Guru of this movement, is giving such an accessible way that we can connect with Krishna. And by doing that, we can revive our spiritual consciousness, our remembrance of Krishna. And the simplest and most important way is through this chanting of the holy names. There are many different activities, but this is the primary activity, is chanting of the holy names. Now, the chanting is both the means and the goals, the sadhana and sadhya. Now, in order to reach the sadhya, or the goal, anyone, it said there are no hard and fast rules in chanting. Anyone can chant. Even the most fallen person, perhaps even a dog can chant. Perhaps you've seen dogs chanting, I don't know. But even a dog can chant. It is possible. Anyone, in other words, no one is disqualified from chanting. However, to reach the ultimate goal, there is a process. That means that the connection is made through chanting. In this Kali Yuga particularly, even without initiation, it's said the chanting everyone can do. Everybody can benefit. But unless, according to one of our great acharyas, to Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti extensively describe how in order for the chanting to become what's known as Shriram, pure chanting of the holy name, chanting with pure love, with the right conception and the right understanding of what we're doing, who we are and our relationship with Krishna. He said initiation is absolutely required. Otherwise, Krishna says, chanting remains at best on the stage called Nama Abhas. It's clearing stage, but it's not pure. It's mixed. It's a mixed stage. Because we're not capable of completely clearing ourselves by our own effort. It completely depends on the mercy of Krishna. So we have to evoke that mercy of Krishna. And that mercy of Krishna is evoked through the gradual process of surrender. And there are different processes. Even at initiation, it's called Panchasamskaras. Different 5 activities which are required for the purification. Now, one is a liberated soul, doesn't need to worry about that. But most of us are conditioned souls. We have a misconception about many things. We think it's the right conception, but ultimately it's mixed at best, where it's a total misconception. And so that there are different activities to purify us of that misconception. They're both positive, yama, niyama, do's and don't do's, which are there to try to regulate, as Krishna. Can you give me the Bhagavad Gita? I've got in the orange bag there, one Bhagavad Gita. I'm going to read an interesting verse, because this is something please. See the Bhagavad Gita there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's the one. Beautiful book. Thank you. Bhagavad Gita. Everything is in the Bhagavad Gita. Even in regards to this, it's not worded the same way. I don't read it. Anyway. I'll first read a verse from the 2nd chapter. This is text, you want to follow me? Text 64. Text 64, chapter 2. Wonderful verse spoken by Krishna to Arjuna. And he just described how we become entangled in this material, and now he's going to describe how we can get out of the entanglement. But a person free from all attachment and aversion, you see, not just aversion, some people, or the negative side, but free from both, the dualities of this world, and able to control his senses through the regulated principles of freedom. We sometimes think of regulated principles as being the opposite, don't we? We think we're under control, I want to be free. Materially speaking, naturally we think like that. But spiritually speaking, there are regulated principles, they're called vidis, to regulate our activities, which will free us from this karmic cycle. Free us from these illusions of thinking we're this and we're thinking we're that, and attachments to our various, whatever, conditions of life and so on. So they're called regulated principles of freedom. Viheyatma. Can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. Prasadam adhigachiti. That's how you get the mercy of the Lord, by follow. Now these regulated principles are not man-made. They're given in the scriptures. They come down through the disciplic succession. And these panchasamskaras are these categorized, you could say. Details are given individually, but they're categorized as the regulated principles which help to mold our lives. Now, devotional service is voluntary, so you voluntarily take them on. It's up to us if we want to change our lives. We talk about change in the world, but we've got to change our own consciousness first, how we see the world, not the world itself. So these are to help change the way that we see ourselves and how we see our relationship with others, how we see the world, and how we see our relationship, if we have one, with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they're called the regulated principles of freedom. So they're different activities, do's and don'ts, and today we'll hear about those later on, which are given by our spiritual leaders, spiritual teachers, to help us, not to restrict us. The activities we do in this material are all binding. Good ones, bad ones. Good ones are just as binding as the bad ones. People want, they're always talking about, we want the good things in the world. Forgive me for my sins and give me the results of my good activities. But actually a devotee, one who understands it, you've got to become free from the good reactions as well as the bad ones. They're just as binding. You don't hear people cry like that, do you? Oh my Lord, please forgive me for my good activities. Ever heard anyone pray like that? No. In one sense, it's understandable. But in another sense, it is not with a proper conception and where everything is meant to elevate us to God consciousness, is of no real significance, whether it's good or bad. It just means you stay in the prison. You get a better self, but you're still in the material world. Yeah? You're still even if you win the rat race, you're still a rat type of thing, You're still in the material world. So what's the big deal? Good or bad. It's the same, it's just the other side. Aversion, affection. Whatever it may be, attachment, aversion. We've got to become free of this duality and become attached to the Absolute. This is only a figment of this material world, this duality.
I think the husbands of the gopis ran off. The husbands of the gopis, when the gopis ran off in the middle of the night, the Brahman, the husbands, they lamented that what worth is all their pious
They
activity.
did indeed. Even they did. Yeah, but the wives of the Brahmins, when they went off running off to Krishna, they also did that. What is this? They were attached to their pious activities. They thought that was the goal of it all. The same thing here. If we're just attached to the externals, that won't work. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that's one of the main problems in spiritual life. We become too much attached to the externals, thinking the externals are what it's for. They are only to assist the internal change of consciousness. So we can start to see things for what they are. And not just contract some kind of materialistic thing on the goodness and this and that. And so even the sacrifice today is just to help solidify or help purify us within, to establish this consciousness within ourselves. So we remember this and we take it seriously. We don't just take it lightly. It's a great opportunity. Initiation, Krishna says, must be taken. It's a stage in devotional service during the stage called Bhajana Kriya. And then the next stage is called Anarjanavritti. Bhajana Kriya means practicing devotional practices. It may be of various kinds, but it's different types of activity. That's the vidhis. That's the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Different activities which will help to purify our consciousness. And that means Anarjanavritti. The anartas means all of these attachments we have, and aversions which we have, and different karmas which we have, etc., which are blocking our consciousness. They are cleared away by proper performance of bhajan. When the bhajan becomes nishta bhajana kriya, and then gradually these steady devotion service, that means these anartas become removed, and things become clearer. And one comes to the pure state of nishta bhakti. But at the beginning it's not nishta. So initiation is essential in order for us to actually solidify that nishta, that steadying of our practices, so that the anartas go away. And they go away, and those are Bhadras, Krishna himself says, Srimbadam Sakata Krishna Punyashravana Kirtana Vidyantakstoya Bhadrani Vidinoti Satam. The Lord cleanses them from our mind. He cleanses them. When we show that we're sincere, and that surrender, or that we're accepting His guidance, that's the process, not that we're making up our own process, it's not made up. It's coming from scripture, and it's coming from Guru Parampara. We put that into application according to our position, and then we can see gradually there will be some reformation of our consciousness. So these things are required for those who need it. And frankly, everyone in the conditioned world needs this reformation of consciousness. So these various panchasamskaras, tapas, different types of, let's say, sacrifices, which we may perform, restraining ourselves from various activities, accepting activities which we would not normally do for spiritual benefits, and so on. Pundra, that means accepting and marking the body with various symbols. They're externals, you can say, but they help us. They should be also simultaneously accompanied with an internal understanding that I am a spirit soul, I am a servant of Krishna, I'm not just this body. This body is to be used in Krishna's service, it's Krishna's energy, everything belongs to Krishna. So there's a little bit of understanding here, some bandhagyan, a little bit of understanding of the beginning of spirituality, and then when we see changing a name. The change of name is there to help us, to free us from the conception of identification with whatever previous situation we're in, or present situation we're in. Sometimes our name may not be directly connected, spiritually speaking, at least by our perception. And when we receive a name, it is always a name of Krishna or Krishna's devotees, and it's always accompanied by Das or Dasi, meaning we're reminding us that we are servants of Krishna. When we say those names, we automatically purify each and every one of us when we mention the names of Krishna. Tradition, that was always the case, to help purify those in the human form of life. So just by hearing their name, one can become purified. There's so many similar stories like that. Then there's Diksha, mantra. One receives mantra, different mantras. Like today, we've come to, hopefully these first two stages are there, that there was perform some restriction of activities, and some things are positive, and they're taking on this, let's say, the lifestyle of a devotee in various ways in their lives. And now names will be given for those who are accepting the first, or the the Nam Diksha, they receive a new name. And those who are taking Mantra Diksha, they've already got a name, they've already been initiated by Nam. And then the Mantra Diksha is so they can further solidify. Dr. Vinod Thakur described this is to help us, especially the second initiation, the specific mantras of that disciplic succession, to help us to develop a deeper taste for the holy name. That's the first point in Mantra Diksha. So we can get a deeper taste, freeing ourselves from mental speculation and having a deeper taste. Is the effect of the appropriate mantras when chanted, received and chanted from the right source, have an effect so we can actually develop a deeper taste for the sweet holy name of Krishna. But it's to help us. It's not absolutely required, but it is very helpful. It's not just so that we can perform daily worship, or just so that we can take on the responsibility of Brahman in society, whatever you want to call it. So that different mantras may be received from the right source, from the Guru, and then yaja. Then, practically speaking, usually means daily worship, but it actually means all kinds of services, all the different branches of devotional service. So to fully engage ourselves in devotional service, using all the gifts of God, nothing but His energy, in His service. And so these are the various pancha samskaras to purify us, which are required in order to actually reform our perception, our behavior, and our lives themselves. So we can actually progress to the pure state of pure devotional service. Now, in the stage of chanting, let's just take the Nam, the stage of Nam, and then the stage of Diksha. In the stage of Diksha, or mantra, when we receive the mantra, the Nam, the holy name in this case, when we receive that, if we want to come to the pure association, because we mentioned at the beginning the name is none other than Radha and Krishna. We're getting that chance to associate. But there's a little blockage there. And that blockage has to be removed. It's not a block. It's like now, because now we have a sunny day. But when there are clouds in the sky, you may not be able to see the sun, but the sun is there. You have to remove the clouds. So these blockages are like clouds. They're called anarthas, unwanted material desires. And amongst those anarthas, let's say, side by side with those are the tendency to commit offenses. So specifically on this day, we have both Nam Diksha and Mantra Diksha, but we'll talk a bit about Nam. We haven't got time to talk about Mantra. We'll talk about that with the devotees later. But the Nam Diksha is specifically that stage where we hope you'll take it very seriously. Your chanting in the holy name now will become offenseless. Maybe already is, but we always have to work towards it. So there are 10 offenses, Prabhupada said, in chanting the holy names. Prabhupada's coming from Padma Purana, ancient scriptures, passed down through a disciplic succession. So when we receive the mantra from the disciplic succession, then it can be effective. Otherwise, we can chant it, but it will not have transcendental effect, because Krishna will not reciprocate in that way. He will not clear away, at least not very much, the anarthas, the different prarabdhas, aparabdhas covering our hearts, so we cannot see the sun. We're still under the clouds. The clouds have to be removed, and they're removed by the mercy of Krishna. We do our part by trying to chant with the right conception. That means without offense. That's the point. So Nam Aparad means chanting with offense, and pure chanting is without offense. The Chekha stage called Namabhas is where we're aware of that, and we're trying to change that approach to the holy name. Let's say relationship with the holy name. Just like we have relationships with each other, there may be some misunderstandings, there may sometimes be some, unpleasantries. We try to clear it away so the relationship becomes very nice and very open and very natural. We do the same thing with Krishna, Radha and Krishna. So we try to chant without these offenses. Very hard to avoid them all the time, but we make the effort. We haven't got much. I'll put my glasses on so I can see the time. Okay, we've got half a second left. Okay, any questions? That was the 10 offenses in one word. It's better. No questions. We've got to finish this. Sorry, sir. 10 offenses, I'll just go to no time to beat around the bush. The first offense is to, who knows it? Blaspheme those who dedicate their lives to chanting the holy names of the Lord. I wish we had time to discuss all these things, but we have a time schedule. In other words, we shouldn't really be offensive even in mind towards anybody at all. They are all part and parcel of Krishna. We may sometimes, of course, point out, we're in a position to do so, things which are detrimental, but not the person. Hate the sin, not the sinner. We don't blaspheme anyone, and especially those who are engaged in devotion. So even to think enviously. These thoughts come up, we have to pray and associate with devotees favourably, try to find something brave or even quite favourable words towards them. Associate with devotees who are free of this tendency to find fault in others. It's the biggest obstacle practically on our spiritual path, and it's easy to fall into that trap. It's a very purposely, practically, situations are there to just test, and it's easy to fall into that trap. We've got to be positive and see the goodness and get on with our devotional service and try to make a difference in the world. So in that sense, we should be very careful, even the mind, to think negatively or enviously towards them. Second offense is to consider the names of the demigods, like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, to be equal to or dependent on the name of Lord Vishnu. That means to say, we're thinking basically, it's called Mayavad, which is the greatest, everyone's the greatest obstacle. Actually, Father said that about all of you. But it's the greatest obstacle. When we have this Mayavadi conception, that will block us from going from Shuddhanam, from Namabas to Shuddhanam entirely, try as we may. Even if we're in this state, you will not make it. As long as we have this Mayavad conception, I want to merge into the Brahma Jyoti, I want to become God. It's all one, everything's God, and there is no God. All these different types of, that sound nice when you're envious of God, but all these different types of conceptions will prevent us, because you won't get the mercy of Krishna. You'll get what you're asked for. Same if you want both, even if you want material things too, every chanting. If that's our motivation, I want to get free of sinful reactions, I want material returns, that may come, but that's not the goal. And if we maintain that as our goal, we're blocking our path. Eventually we've got to let go of that also. Third offense is to disobey the orders of spiritual masters represented in the Parampara. If you disobey them, you're disobeying Krishna. Simple as that, and that's why we're in the material world. We'll stay here as long as we do it. The fourth offense is to blaspheme the Vedic literature, which is in pursuance of the Vedic version. We may not understand the Vedas, we may not understand other scriptures, but we never criticize or blaspheme them. They have their position, maybe a different stage, a more elevated stage, or a less elevated stage, but they're relevant at a certain time, maybe some in Naimitika Dharma, that means they're contemporary circumstances, some in Nitya Dharma. We may not understand the difference right now, but we should be very careful and accept those teachings which are given to us by our acharyas, which are relevant to our situation, and not criticize others. The fifth offense is to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna as imagination. The glories of the chanting the holy name may not be experienced by those who are not properly practicing or at a particular stage of devotion service, but they are experienced at a certain stage. And some people say they're just incentives, but they're not just incentives, they're realities also. So we may not need to experience, we may not be experiencing them, but they are there. There's no end to the glories of the holy name and the effects of the holy name. And the sixth offense is to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. The holy name of the Lord is described in the scripture by the pure devotees. We don't need to interpret it. They tell us what it means. It's not up to us to interpret. We always want to put our impression on it. I think it's like this. My opinion is like, I heard it was like that. Who cares about it? It's what it actually is that counts. I think, and you don't know somebody, you say, I think they're, an egg. I think they're a mongoose. I think they're an elephant. I think they're a mountain. And we don't know. Who cares what you think? You have to find out what they are. They know what they are, and so someone who knows what they are. You don't expect it. Seventh offense, to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy names of the Lord. Very common offense. So, we do something nonsense, and we say, Krishna, please forgive me, this, that, the other, Hare Krishna, okay, don't worry about it. Okay, we've got our problems, we have our fall downs, whatever it may be, in some subtle or gross ways sometimes in this world. But we pray to the Lord for help. Please, my Lord, please help. Pick me up in this fallen condition. Give me strength. I don't act in a way which is detrimental or displeasing to you and detrimental to my real interests. Yes, be honest, be humble. Don't just say, I'm going to carry on doing all nonsense. Just don't punish me for it, for God's sake. Ask the Lord for real help. The eighth offense, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda. In other words, to think it's just another material activities to get material returns, to go to heaven, to get liberation. It's not. It's Goloka Premadama, Harinama Sankirtan. It's come from Goloka Vrindavan into this world to pick us up, take us, just hold on to the name, don't let go, keep chanting, chanting, chanting. Krishna will pull you out Even though there's offences, the Prabhupada said if you have these offences, chant more. Don't give up because the offences mean you have to chant more. But try to learn how to chant more in the proper way. Just carry on chanting in the wrong way, but learn how to find out how to chant in a more, let's say, pleasing way. Krishna and everything else. The ninth offense is to preach the glories of the holy name to the faithless. God knows how I got them here. But anyway, somehow or another something happened. But Prabhupada said what that means is interesting, a different concept. Prabhupada said that means we do not initiate anyone unless they have gone through the stages of Pancha Samskara. Unless they've actually followed these principles, and it's 1 year. And it's clearly defined in a Haribhakti Vilasa. It said, Guru test disciple, disciple test Guru for 1 year. Just to see if it's the right thing. Are we eligible for this stage of surrender to Krishna? Are we willing? Are we sincere? Are we taking it seriously? Otherwise there will be no benefit. It has to be an internal acceptance. There's two kinds of initiation. External, which is the formalities, and the internal, where we actually accept that as our life and soul. It may not be entirely in the beginning, but we have to work towards it. And in the stage of Tapa also, one of the essential features of the first stage of this Pancha Samskara is repentance. We're repenting our fallen condition, that I'm still attached to this, that, the other, and I still have this concept, and so many things. This is it's not just, a kind of one-off repentance, repent or burn. It's a deep thing within the heart, that we genuinely feel this way. That we really want change. And we regret that we're still attached, and so on and so forth. The two types of initiations are there. And the ninth, so that's what Prabhupada said about that one. The 10th offense is to remain attached to material things and not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names. The whole process of devotional service is to develop faith in the holy names. Oh, there you go. Yeah, chair. Complete faith in the holy names, and we're all attached to material things. So we try to use those material things in Krishna service in the right way, not in according to our speculation. We inquire how to do it, and that gradually purifies us of our attachments. Instead of being attached to the material object or the material world, we become attached to Krishna gradually by that process of offering those in the service of Krishna. And now the key one, which is time to read the other verses. We can take it. The key one is inattention. You should also consider an offense to be inattentive. And inattentive chanting is, Bhakti Vinod Thakur describes, sows the seeds of all the anarthas. The seeds are there in our heart, they won't grow unless they're sown. So inattentive chanting helps us sow them. And then chanting waters them if you're not careful too. It waters the weeds as well as devotional people. And it also causes the awakening of all these other offenses. The propensity is there, but the inattentive chanting allows them to take place. Attentive chanting will floods out all these seeds. They can't grow. Attentive chanting. That was very difficult. Bhakti Vinod Thakur said it is impossible for the jiva, the spirit soul, to single-handedly overcome the illusion of inattention. It is only possible by the mercy of Krishna. Therefore, one should fervently pray for the mercy of Krishna. There's no other way of getting out of this illusion, of this inattention. We can make our effort to be attentive simultaneously. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you fight and be conscious of things. So we chant and we try to also, in this humble mood, humble, tolerant, respectful mood, chant the holy names of the Lord and take shelter of Krishna. So these are the 10 offenses against the chanting of the holy name plus inattention, which is the key to turn from inattentive to attentive, from offensive to inoffensive chanting of the holy name. So please look into this and try to take this seriously. Those who are taking Nam Diksha today, and also those who are taking Mantra Diksha, to remind you of your wonderful opportunity and great responsibility in life. You may be getting old, you may only have a few years left, it doesn't matter. Every moment is important to use to try to focus or connect with Krishna. So if this helps us connect with Krishna, we hope you will pray today, give these devotees your blessings so they can maintain and keep their vows today and move forward in devotional service and be a very pleasing member of this movement to assist Srila Prabhupada, our guide, our protector, our Siksha Guru, every one of us in this Krishna conscious, at least in ISKCON movement, to protect us, that we may be an instrument in spreading Krishna consciousness to others. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Now then, we're going to have, now I suppose, Namaskaram now, or you have some others? It's up to you. We normally get the names this kind of time. But I've got one or two things to briefly mention before we kick off. First of all, maybe my positioning has to be changed. So how can they could offer there this way? Rather than, yeah, no, I mean, when they come to me, they don't come like this. That's okay, that's fine. Slide in head first. In this situation, that's the most appropriate anyway. So we're going to ask you to dive in head first in a minute. Before we do that, I'd just like to mention, it was the case, at least in England, always during the yajna, we would have 4 devotees reading. We don't have the 4 Vedas represented by the coconuts today, so we're going to have 4 books, one on each corner, and 4 devotees reading from 4 different scriptures. So we're going to ask for volunteers first, and if no volunteers come, we're going to appoint somebody. So who'd like to read? 1 hand is done, 2 hands, 3 hands, 4 hands, okay? 4 hands. We're going to get a badge to you. Okay, now there were 4 books, I don't know where they are. Have you got them, Miranda? Here they are. Take your book, 1 over behind me, 1 over there, 1 over there. And have 1 lady, we should have 1 lady. Come on, one of these boys. Step back, don't be greedy. 1 lady, who'd like to read amongst the ladies? Come on, who's the reader? Who's the reader? You read, okay, 1 over here. 1 amongst the ladies. Don't do it now when the yoga starts. I'm just getting it set up so we don't forget it, okay? And now let's see, where are we? Over there. This is the northwest. Northwest, over there. Bhajan over there. We've got to go by Basel, I heard around here. Basel, northwest. The Bhajan should be on the northwest. Sit over there. We're doing a quiet, mellow Bhajan throughout. Not too loud, only when we tell you to. Who's going to lead over here again? Over there, just move back a little bit. Just see over there. Okay? When we say it, we'll give you the thumb when to start, okay? We'll give you the thumb when to start. Hare Krishna. So, Hare Krishna. Now the reason we do this is very interesting. Srila Prabhupada writes in the 8th canto of Bhagavatam that if the pastimes of Lord Radhe, Lord Damodar, and Bali Maharaj are mentioned at the text that any yoga, the yoga becomes even more successful, more auspicious. As you see the normal yogas, but they're also Prabhupada, also in their own yogas. Don't start reading yet. And Mary describes one incident there, a very important incident. When Bali Maharaj was sent down to the lower planets by Shukracharya's curse, Lord Vishnu asked Shukracharya, the spiritual master of the demons, and he's acting in that role. He's actually a greatly learned scholar, sage. And he said to the Lord, my Lord, the Lord said, why did you curse him? What was his fault? And Shukracharya said, my Lord, mantratas Chitram, that even if all the mantras are wrong, even if the paraphernalia is wrong, the time is wrong, the place is wrong, the situation, everything's wrong, nonetheless, he said, if the holy name, my Lord, is chanted, everything becomes nishchitram, everything becomes faultless. So that's why we always have the chanting of the holy names, even during our yoga. As the real yoga is in this yoga, in this age, yoga sankirtanam prayer, yajantihi sumedasa, the yoga is the chanting of the holy name. So please don't just sit with us like dummies. Yeah, I don't know what system Nishina Prabhupada is using. Are you repeating? Is it? Okay. So you have to repeat when Nishina Prabhupada chants the mantras, part of the mantra, each time repeat it with all your heart. Cleanse your heart. Or join in with the kirtan, but somehow don't just sit like a spectator. Become a participant. That's how our heart changes. So you're a participant, okay? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. With your kind permission, we will now proceed with the next stage. And we're going to ask the candidates for this. I don't know the exact procedure. I get in trouble by suggesting things sometimes. What is the normal procedure now? Which order do you have them offer their obeisances? First the Prabhupada, then the deities, and then the representative of the Parampara, qualified or unqualified. That is our responsibility as a peon to pass on this service on behalf of Srila Prabhupada to officially initiate the devotees into the disciple succession taking responsibility. Yes, ma'am.
What start does the recipient hand obeisances to you?
I'm told they're going to do it head on. Yeah, so they definitely will not have their feet towards the deities or towards Srila Prabhupada. That's the main thing. Sometimes you have to, let's say, take the higher principle to make two statements sometimes, and Prabhupada did say some dilemma sometimes. Like, I won't get into details. So sometimes you do. You have to take the highest principle is not to have your feet to the deities or to the devotee Shiva. Head on, there's nothing wrong with that anyway. Head on. You got it? You got it? Not with your feet this way, head that way. Head this way, okay? I don't mind that, I'll hold your feet. That's not the way, that's probably not the best way to do it. No, oh, thank you. See, another pointed out there, we need Brahmins to point us out when these things always going to make mistakes. Yes, so if you can please then, we're going to call, who should we start? Ladies first? So we start with Mother Chandravali. I think most of you know Mother Chandravali. She's been serving here and been around. First to Srila Prabhupada. Don't step over the plates if you can avoid it. Try to step to the side and offer your obeisances. Both hands on the floor, as I did mention in the beginning a little bit there.
Maharaj, when do they start reading?
Pardon?
They can start
No, when the yoga begins.
What's that wrong?
Yeah, when we start the actual prayer mantras and so on. Then come to the deities. And offer your obeisances to the deities, and then come here. So Mother Chandravali has been around Krishna consciousness movement for very many years, and she's been serving here in NewGoverdhan for several years steadily now, doing very many varieties of services, assisting in the backup of the deity worship and so many different activities in the kitchen department, this department, and that department. Oh, is it okay? Is she okay? Yeah. Comments on this went wrong. Anything? Oh, there's just so many things to do. Don't worry, I'll be over soon. Still have your relations this year.
No.
Hare Krishna. Okay, I know you're not nervous. Butterflies in the stomach is natural. I was nervous when but actually, believe it or not, when I came in front of Prabhupada. Of course, he's a totally transcendental personality. He could see that I was no doubt a little bit nervous, but somehow or another he made me feel very relaxed after maybe a few moments. And it was, of course, something we remember our whole lives. Initiation is not something that happens every day, at least the formal aspects. So today we have this great privilege to, on behalf of Srila Prabhupada, this honor here today in front of their Lordships, Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram, Guru Govardhan, Shri Shri Radha Govardhan Dari, Srila Prabhupada, all of you wonderful devotees. We have this privilege to enter this service. And we're going to ask Chandravali if she can tell us what the four don'ts are.
No illicit sex, no meat eating, no gambling, and no intoxication.
Is that all right?
It's good for me.
Good for you? You feel in front of the deities you can follow this for the rest of your life?
Yes.
Please bless her that she has the strength and maintains her sincere. I believe she's very sincere about this. So she can maintain this sincerity the rest of her life forevermore. And how many rounds were you chanting?
16 rounds on my beatings.
16 rounds only? Maximum 16 rounds, is it? Sometimes it is like that, isn't it? Thank God I finished my rounds. I know that mentality is there anyway, though. Maximum 16. Not one beat. Under any circumstance. You are allowed to chant 16. It's not against the regulating principles of bhakti to chant more if you want to.
I will make it a goal.
Okay, you do good. Minimum 16 rounds is the general thing. Of course, we are busy, and this is part of our austerity, you could say. But that's how we evoke the mercy of Krishna as a form of sacrifice. And we'll find that as we proceed in our devotional service, render service in a nice mood, that the spirit for chanting will come, it will grow through service. That taste for chanting will come by the mercy of the Vaishnavas. And on Ekadashi, at least try to chant more. Prabhupada would like devotees to chant more, especially on Ekadashi. 25 was the normal number when I joined, it was the expected number on Ekadashi. It wasn't a hard and fast rule. Prabhupada did not insist on it, he suggested. So to take advantage of these golden opportunities, try to chant more. If not on these, just keep chanting off the leaves. Keep chanting, keep chanting, keep chanting. And you will become enchanted by the holy name. Hare Krishna. So, it's always exciting choosing names, I must say. I usually put the names in the bag and just pull one out. Sometimes I ask them what name they want. Sometimes I decide at the last second, right on the spot. And I forget the name I chose. So many different things. It's all, but ultimately, what happens is Krishna's mercy. And try to see that. Even though we sometimes get a name, I know to us, oh my God, I don't like that name. And some spiritual masters, they give the disciples a few names and they say, choose which one you want. Anyway, today I know that Chandravali, she's also serving Mukunda Maharaj, and she's, well, as you may know, in our we don't normally, those who are followers of Radharani, and we're supposed to be followers of Radharani, I believe, at least her party, they don't normally say that name, do they? They don't normally say that name, do they? She's in the opposition party, right? We want you to come into the real little home party now, okay? Right, yeah, we want you to come into the your right wing, we want you to come into Radharani's party. So she also feels that way, but somehow or another, for the time being, maybe just preparing herself. She's got the name Chandravali. She's the leader of the right-wing gopis. They're very submissive and very good. We're going to bring you over to the other party. Is that okay? Are you willing to change parties? You sure? A big sacrifice. She's very much attached to that mood of serving the servants of Srimati Radharani. So we're giving you a name of one of the Priyasakis. One of Radharani's Priyasakis, her very dear gopis, friends. Your name. Give us some peeps. Usually we have a roll call. I don't know if that's gone phased out in time, but usually someone holding the drum and someone's about to keep the cartels. We're very eager there, I can see that. Begging for the holy name. What do we like this? Begging! Mercy, give us mercy. Where's the cartels? We're ready for the rumble tumble. Your name is Chandrika Devi Dasi. Very humble. It's only a Priyasaki. Oh, Hare Krishna, thank you. We're giving the beads and pay obeisances with both hands on the floor. I'll give them back. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai! Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Chandrika Devi Dasi Ki Jai. Don't forget you're a Dasi. That means servant. If you like to go around them, which I would really like to pay obeisances again if you want. Who would like to be next? Okay. Liam? Liam is loved by all the devotees who know her here in Australia. A very wonderful Vaishnavi. Based in Sydney, comes here sometimes. A very close friend of Ashim Vivashiko and his family. Who again, we're very honored today to have this opportunity to help her, I hope, make this step forward in her spiritual life. This little step of surrender, commitment today. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna camera. Where's the camera? I'm giving you a new camera, illustration. you take sannyas, you get a new laptop. I got a laptop someday, anyway, somebody's gave it last year. And you have to have one, these days, mobile. You got a mobile? You got me. So, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity today. It's a privilege for this opportunity to serve. So, would you like to tell us what the regulated principles are?
No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling.
How many rounds do you chant daily?
Minimum 16.
Thank you. Minimum 16. And if possible, please try to chant more like Krishna. You think you, in front of the deities, in front of the devotees, you should talk out. You feel confident you can do this? Hare Krishna. We're very happy today. Again, great festival today. Say, expanding the Prabhupada's family of ISKCON, officially, we're already members for a long time, and now official license to drive. Today we'd like to give a name to Hari Priya Devi Dasi. Hari Priya Devi Dasi ki jai. She wanted a simple name. Is that simple? Is that okay? Hari Priya. Is that okay, Anthony? You okay with that? You sure? Is that okay? You're going to get his permission. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Normally we give a name beginning with the same letter, but not always. Because there's so many leelas, there's so many lalitas, this one, that one, so we chose a different name. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. And last but not least, Hare Krishna, adorned with a beautiful devotee. He said we want to make people laugh, so I just told him what you asked me to do. We call upon Anthony Prabhu. And please take pictures because he's a famous photographer. Wherever you go, you see him with his camera. And reporter, so many Krishna conscious reports. And I don't go on Facebook, but I've seen some of them. Keeps people in the news about what's happening around ISKCON very nicely. And this week, back to copying magazines to everybody, which is very, very nice. Service. We need this Back to God magazine was the backbone of ISKCON. I don't know where it's gone. It was the backbone of ISKCON. That's how I became a devotee, by reading Back to God. I never met a devotee, I never heard of Hare Krishna movement, I never heard of ISKCON, I never saw the word of Prabhupada. I just read the Back to God magazine, very old version, 1970 edition. And that's what made me a devotee. Completely intuitive. Very powerful. We don't maybe have other things, but it's very important actually. So thank you for that service. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, look at those. Someone should take a picture, please. This is amazing. Almost. Take your breath back. Take a deep breath. Don't be too nervous now. It's all right. This has been the toughest one. I'll tell you, really tough to choose a name on this guy. Really tough. I went through all the A's, and we went through it. It was awesome. It was very exciting and very purifying to think all these wonderful names of Krishna, all of them suitably appropriate. It just seems that the one that's meant to be comes at the end. It's always like that. It's the one that suddenly pops up at the end. And it's not always when you think of it. Krishna puts that little spark in at the end. It comes in different ways. And this one came in an unusual way. I was going to give this name to another devotee in New Zealand, but there was already a devotee with that name. I've been waiting to give this name to an appropriate devotee. And I didn't actually think about it until he reminded me how appropriate it was. Ready? Get the laughter ready, please. Okay, we're ready for a good laugh. He told me that. He said, if you give me a name and make everyone laugh, so here we go. What better name can we give? And you're going to have to devise a very good way to make even ladders. Anyone guess which name it is?
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Where are those beads? Hey, you haven't passed the test. We're not going to give you anything else. We give you a hard time if you haven't passed the test. What are the 4 regulating principles?
No meeting, no sex.
No meeting.
No meetings. No meetings. No illicit sex. No gambling. No intoxication.
No intoxications, okay? No tea. No cigarettes. No coffee.
Immediately.
Immediately, okay. And the last cigarette just now, I saw you there. You can eat laddus though. Okay? Even cow laddus. And that's where it came from. Because when we were in Vrindavan, you were there. Are you there? Right, you were there. I was distributing cow, we both distributed masses of cow laddus when we were in Vrindavan. So we gave them to the devotees, of course. He was very keen to take a cow laddu. Likes his laddus. So, how many rounds a day?
At least 16, more if possible.
Please, if you can. I know busy people, working people, we know how to do this, but do everything you can. Please, try to chant all the beads, and try to chant in the morning as many as you can before the day starts. We've missed this golden opportunity. We drag it out sometimes till late at night. We're watching the television sometimes, we're watching China rounds. But what was that 11th offence again as we're watching the TV? What's the 11th offence? Inattention. It's sometimes like that almost. But try it please. And I know many of you are very busy, but really, this is how we really get that extra mercy. Get up a little early, go to bed a little earlier, chant in the morning. Phenomenal experience. Krishna's reciprocates so much. And those in nature are not so overwhelming. Hare Krishna. We're very happy today. Hare Krishna. That was confirmed. Hare Krishna. To give you the name today of Madhu Mangal Das. Madhu Mangal Das. Hari Hari Ki Jai. Is that okay? Is that alright? You're happy with the short? You don't just not come and see me afterwards. No, it's changed. No, it did change then. Hare Krishna. No matter who goes boy. Because we know the thing you see in Australia, everyone shortens names. If you give someone like Keishi Nasuka, everyone just calls him Keishi all the time. Where's Keishi? Where's Keishi? Keishi.
That's it. That's a long version, Keishi.
Keishi. Well, that's not so bad. Keishi is not so bad. Keishi is the, so this way they call you Madhu, no problems. Maybe they'll call you Hari for you. It's not very long. Generally, you can't sort anything more than chant short. So, I try to also give names like that in Australia, so even if they do short, it doesn't sound too bad. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sankirtan ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Gaur Premanandi. Thank you all very much for your tolerance. Apologies for any offences, knowingly or unknowingly committed. Anyone else here today, we pray for Srila Prabhupada, to their lordships, that we all, by their mercy, we can continue to remain always at Prabhupada's lotus feet forevermore, trying to serve him in whichever way he wants. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hand over to you.
I mean, most of it, was just enthusiasm. Just very enthusiastic to do anything in Krishna consciousness, to learn, to grow, to find out about things. And just to help me. He's always been very enthusiastic to help me and encouraged me in my one-man band, the leader worship history. Which by his grace is no longer one-man band. But also, I've seen many times, I remember, was it last year, we were asked to speak at the preaching centre in Sydney. And never done it before. Ringing up and just asked me a few questions, what about this, what about this, I came through, and off we went and did it. Never done it before. Just spoke to what, in front of 20, 30 people, had all chanting and dancing and carrying on like that. Just like him. So, for me, it's a great honour. I'd also like to say about Chandri. But we also appreciate the service that you do in the department, being great help. The mission jump also is very inspired by the contribution you offer in the department. Told a number of times. Thank you for that. Just a little bit about the ceremony now. Some of you have grains, so with the grains, hold them like this. This is like either a deer or a cow. It's mudras and hanches. So you hold them and you throw them like that in the fire. If anything, when I say is fire, if anything falls to the floor, leave them within 1 hour. Because now I've asked women and dairy to come and retire on the fire service. Now, as we go through what is called the Mantra Chara, it's actually chanting the mantras